Pinheiro kicks it through. And the Panthers have won.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Hello, everyone. This is the Pocket Passer. I'm your host, Randy White. I hope all of you are having a fantastic day. I know I am because we're talking about football and more specifically the Giants quarterback change. It was announced that Daniel Jones is being benched for Tommy DeVito. He's back in the lineup. He's starting again. He provided a spark last year when Daniel Jones was hurt. The Giants are hoping he can do the same thing this time. Why not Drew Lock? I know it's a question that a lot of people have asked. I was wondering the same thing when Tommy DeVito was announced as the starter. I believe, and what I've heard, is that Tommy DeVito had a better overall camp than Drew Lock. Drew Lock had, I think, an injury, something that held him back in camp. Tommy DeVito was able to pick up stuff quicker, had a better camp due to some setbacks that Drew Lock had. That's my understanding of the situation. I may have misheard that completely or misread that completely, and it could be wrong, but that is my understanding of the information that I believe I heard. That is the situation. Drew Lock was a little banged up. Drew Lock doesn't retain information or pick up new information as effectively and quickly as Tommy DeVito did. Tommy DeVito's been better in practice, so they're going to give him the reins as the starting quarterback to try and see if not really right the ship in New York, but maybe provide a spark to the team and see if they can have some respectability going forward. Now, this is a Giants team that, although their record looks really bad, 2-8, in line to have the first pick in the draft if Jacksonville gets another win, but this is a team that's been competitive in a lot of their losses, a lot of one-score losses. It's a team that's honestly better than their record says. Their defense is pretty solid, but good Lord, their offense is terrible, which leads me to my next point, which is that Brian Daboll might be in big trouble. Brian Daboll is an offensive head coach. He was hired on as the Giants head coach after his success transforming Josh Allen's career in Buffalo, and he was the offensive coordinator over there. Now they're in big trouble. John Mara came out and said that he was going to give them another year and that nothing was going to be changed this year and that he had to trust the process, and you got to trust the process. I agree with that approach, except for that Joe Schoen is a moron and a terrible general manager, and they need to get rid of him. Bring in another general manager. Please, New York Giants, if you care about winning, get rid of Joe Schoen. This dude doesn't do anything good. He gave Daniel Jones $40 million, and he got rid of Saquon and let him go to the Eagles. Don't keep that guy. He doesn't know what he's doing. I think Brian Daboll could still maybe be a good coach. He definitely showed flashes of it. He led the Giants to the playoffs along with Daniel Jones. That's what got the contract. Hopefully Brian Daboll wasn't campaigning really hard for that Daniel Jones contract. He probably was in support of it, which concerns me, to say the least, but I don't think this is a complete disaster. I think Brian Daboll has the ability to coach a good football team if they can finally draft some quality offensive linemen, finally draft some more weapons. They got Malik Neighbors, who is a absolute dog, a little bit of a dropping problem, but absolute dog, great route runner. For the most part, great hands when he's going up and making contested grabs. He's an absolute playmaker. They need to bring in a different quarterback. If the Giants do get rid of Daboll, they got to bring Vrabel. I mentioned that in the Bengals video that dropped last night. I'm assuming you guys are seeing this Tuesday. That's the plan. I'm recording this right now Monday night, late, but this video will probably drop sometime late-ish Tuesday, if I had to guess. But that is the situation. If you're going to fire a coach, it better be to try and bring in either Mike Vrabel or Bill Belichick. But either way, I think Brian Daboll staying in New York is the correct thing to do. I'm going to commend John Mara for being patient, for saying he's going to be patient, for saying he's going to stick to a process, trust his coaching staff to go out there and get things done and try and right the ship and try and show progress here in this next year. Now, the issue is a lot of the times when you give your coach time and you're saying, hey, I'm going to trust the process, you want to see improvement from year 0 to year 1, maybe slight improvement, or maybe a bunch of stuff got shook up and you got worse from the before he got there to when he got there. That's possible, but you want to see from year 1 to year 2 improvement, from year 2 to year 3 improvement. That hasn't been the case. It was a jump year 1 and then drop off year 2, drop off year 3. That's not what you want to see from a coaching staff and a general manager regime. You want to see that really get flipped on its head. So the fact that it's not that way is concerning, and it kind of disrupts the whole trust the process argument, because that is, again, usually a very strong argument is, hey, year 1, not going to be great. Year 2, Not going to be great, but we're going to be better. We're going to be solid. We're going to compete. Year 3 should be a playoff year or damn close. And then year 4, you got to make that leap into real competitive football. And we need to see that leap next year. The Giants defense, real close. They've got some dogs over there on defense and they've shown up and they've executed at a high level in many of their games. Maybe not all season, but many of their games they've shown flashes of quality defensive play. So we need to see that continue to pick up and continue to be the case next year. That offense has to wake up right now. Brian Daboll's not going to have his job halfway through next year or by the end of next year if they don't flip that switch. That should be obvious, but I'm going to say it anyway. They got to bring in another receiver, but more importantly than anything else, and if they didn't bring in another receiver, I'd be okay with it if it was because they went heavily prioritizing offensive line. Joe Schoen's got to wake the hell up and start drafting quality players if they want to turn this thing around. If not, they're going to continue to stink. There's a reason Nick Sirianni said, O-line, D-line, Howie, it's necessary. It's not just necessary, it's a necessity. You have to have a good offensive line. You have to have a good defensive line. Football is won at the line of scrimmage. If you don't win the line of scrimmage, you don't win the game 9 times out of 10. The Bengals are the rare exception where offensively they never win the line of scrimmage, especially in that Super Bowl run year. They did not win the line of scrimmage. They went to the Super Bowl anyway. Well, now what are we seeing? They're still not winning the line of scrimmage. Their defense stinks. They're not winning the line of scrimmage on the defensive side of the ball. Their secondary's bad. They're losing a bunch. Look at the Giants. They might be winning the line of scrimmage at times defensively, but offensively, they're never winning the line of scrimmage. Their offensive line stinks. Sometimes they rip off some explosive runs, but they can never string a drive together. They always shoot themselves in the foot. They're not winning the line of scrimmage, and their quarterback isn't executing. So those are 2 key things that need to happen. It's not happening. So get rid of the quarterback. Get him out. Daniel Jones, his time in New York is done. Never should have given him $40 million a year. That was silly. Just because you win one playoff game against a Giants team that was falling off does not mean you hand this dude the bag. All right. He was clearly executing within a system that kept him in a box, allowed him to excel at the things he is good at. And so I was editing this video, I just wanted to jump in here and make a quick clarification because I said they put him in a system, put him in a box a little bit. So I want to clarify the difference between putting a quarterback in a box and that box of limitations and their abilities and being a system quarterback, because I honestly hate the term system quarterback. I think it's a stupid way to describe quarterbacks. Every single quarterback you've ever watched play football is a system quarterback because every offense has a system. Every offensive structure has an identity. There's no such thing as just calling random plays willy-nilly. There's an art to calling plays. There's an art to designing an offensive identity, and really structuring an offense and a scheme that puts your quarterback and the rest of his teammates in the best position to go succeed. So I think the system quarterback label as a negative thing is really stupid, and frankly, I find it asinine anytime someone uses it. So I want to go ahead and nip that in the butt right now because I kind of worded that poorly. So when I say system quarterback and being put in a box, I mean, this is a guy that really there's no such thing as a successful system that he can really run at a high level for an extended period of time. There's too many flaws and holes in his game. So eventually the wheels are going to come off regardless of how good the coach is or the personnel around him. Now in the Giants situation, personnel around him isn't great. So I'm going to give Daniel Jones a little bit of a pass for that. But the point being is that he's just a very limited thrower of the football. His ability to process things quickly is at times concerning, and he's not consistently accurate enough or have all the tools, or he has the tools, but he doesn't put everything together consistently enough and execute at a high enough level consistently enough to be an elite quarterback. So when I say he's put in a box, it's kind of because the play calling at times has appeared to kind of hold his hand. They don't have to ask him, or they don't want to ask him to make super difficult throws. They don't have the faith in him that coaches have in a guy like Jared Goff, Jordan Love, Brock Purdy, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, the elite guys. There's a clear drop off there in what the quarterback trusts the guy to go out and execute and do. And by the way, everyone I just mentioned that's elite, they're all system quarterbacks, okay? They all play within a system. So same thing goes for Daniel Jones. He just doesn't execute the system he's in at a high enough level to be a great quarterback. So just thought I'd jump in and make that clarification real quick. The fact that he is athletic, the fact that he was able to rely on Saquon Barkley, who was unbelievable. What does Joe Schoen do? Let's Saquon walk because we're paying our quarterback $40 million a year. We're not doing that to have him hand the ball off to a $14 million a year running back. You know how dumb that sounds? Do you know how stupid that sounds? That is idiotic. Personnel is so important, and Saquon Barkley is worth the bag. You let Philly give him the bag, and now you're getting dunked on by Philly. They're winning the division once again. Just shameful execution in the front office by New York. I can't shame it enough. So, John Mara, as much as I applaud your willingness to be patient, your willingness to stick to the process, stick to the plan, fire Joe Schoen if you want to get anywhere. Because this guy has made one good draft pick, it feels like. Malik Neighbors is great. Other than that, I can't think of something I'm like, oh, Joe Schoen, you genius, you mastermind. I don't see it at all. So that is my take on the New York Giants situation. Brian Daboll, I forget if he won Coach of the Year his first year there, but if he didn't, he was right there in contention and absolutely deserving of it. So I still have faith in him. Joe Schoen, zero faith. Get him out. That's all I got for you guys. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like. Comment if you agree or disagree with me. Let me hear your voice, your thoughts, your opinions. Smash that subscribe button, and I will see all of you in the next video. Peace.